Good morning to all citizens of Bosnia and Herzegovina. For months, I, and probably you, we are observing that severe problems are mounting more and more. As the High Representative for Bosnia and Herzegovina, I have decided to act now in the interest of the people, of you. Let me sum up the biggest issues we are facing. There's still no budget of the state for 2025. This restricts the ability of the state institutions that serve all citizens of this country to fully function. No adopted budget means, aside of a lot of other grievances, no funds for the implementation of election integrity reforms, which are key requirement of the EU, of Dayton and the OSCE, can go on. Although the House of Representatives adopted a feasibility study for the introduction of specific election technologies in the electoral process, no money is foreseen for this so far in the budget draft, as we have seen. Another serious threat are the debts arising from the arbitration decisions, especially the so-called voduct case. They threaten key state institutions such as the Central Bank of Bosnia and Herzegovina and BiHANZA, the air traffic control agency of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Attorney General's office has highlighted the potential consequences of this case in more than 15 letters to the institutions of BiH, including the competent authorities in the Republika Srpska. The final and binding decisions from the arbitration court, this International Arbitration Court in Washington, from April 2022, set the debt to be paid to Viaduct to almost 80 million km. Due to daily interest rates, the amount has risen to more than 110 million km already, and it's still growing day by day for 9,000. There are no serious efforts for resolving these critical issues in time to avoid negative consequences which will be felt by all people in this country, as Viaduct will try to get its money from BiH state institutions, although the RS is responsible for the debt. The High Representative will act. By the way, some are expressing doubt whether this is legitimate. I will just remind you that Bosnia and Herzegovina is still a country under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter, as the UN Security Council is confirming now for 3 decades, now on a regular basis, after the catastrophic situation and war and genocide in 1991 to 1995. Meaning that the international community remains engaged. This is the reason why the international community, with the 2 elements, EUFOR Althea and the High Representative, still holds the final executive responsibilities in this country. The UN Security Council confirmed with its resolution 1144 the use of the so-called bond powers, my powers, in Bosnia and Herzegovina. In light of all these considerations, I have decided to act. First, a portion of the so-called settlement reserve from the road toll revenues, which are blocked since 2018, will be redirected to settle the Viaduct claim. The settlement will be done from the presumed share of Republika Srpska. The share is not intended for RS budget expenditure and has no impact on the budget stability of the RS. It will not affect any payments or services for the people in the RS, but with this decision it is activated. It will be handed to the Treasury, and they can go and have the payment to viaduct, or if there are other reflections or indications that it should be done again, negotiations, I've heard, they can do it. Wonderful, that's their job, but the state is out. It is with Republika Srpska. This approach is in line with the principle that one who incurs the debt must pay for it. In June 2017, then Prime Minister of the Republika Srpska government, Željko Zivanović, agreed in a contract with the Council of Ministers on state level that RS will pay the viaduct debt. So there's a clear commitment and obligation of Republika Srpska. But unfortunately, since then, 2017, not a single pfennig has been paid. I cannot be happy that the state pays for the debts of an entity. This is not possible. The BIH public attorney, the BIH Central Bank, and BHANSA shall immediately take action towards terminating enforcement procedures against financial interests and assets of BIH, so the premises of the central bank are no longer under threat, and the air traffic controllers can do their very important job in a secure environment. These institutions are crucial for the citizens and should not be endangered by unresponsible behavior. Institutions of a critical infrastructure, like the central bank and BHANSA, are not to be toyed with. The profits of the central bank have by law to be used for state purposes and not for the entities. With my decision, the central bank and the internationally highly reputed Reserve Bank now can make its profits available to the state institutions. So it will finance the costs of procuring election technologies for their introduction in 2026 general elections, which is highly expected. No one had taken care of this so far in any budget drafts. The central bank funds remaining after these, and that's a lot, as I hear, the profits of central bank, this may only be used for the purpose of financing institutions of Bosnia and Herzegovina and give a good way for a good budget for the state. By the way, as well, the federation, which is not in any legal challenge towards the state, but as this is a split money of this reserve for the road toll, will have for its purposes the same amount and the same time. This decision, which I have announced now, enters into force upon publication of the OHR website. With these measures, we are safeguarding financial stability and functionality of the state, enabling free and fair elections, giving Bosnia and Herzegovina's leaders the space they need to start focusing on the country's EU reform agenda. To the political leadership, I may say, now, start adopting the budget for 2025 as soon as possible. The way is free. The citizens of this country have waited long enough. They have shown patience, resilience, and an unwavering desire to live in a peaceful, democratic, and prosperous country that is member of the European Union. Do not let political games rob them of that future. Care for future generations and their right to live in a country that works for them, not against them. A country where institutions function, where the rule of law is respected, and where a young person sees a future worth staying for here. A country where state employees can expect good salaries for good work. We will not forget about other institutions, for example, cultural institutions. This is a moment to rise to the occasion, to act in the interest of all citizens, not just party constituencies. Bosnia and Herzegovina can still make up for the lost time, but only if those in power choose responsibility over rhetoric and progress over paralysis. The path to Europe is open, but take it before it's closing. Thank you very much.